What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here, you can call me Irish, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Battlefield 1 beta. The gameplay, as you can see, is of course from the beta. It's Conquest on the Sinai Desert map, and yeah, basically, I hope you enjoyed that little intro clip. It's actually the second time I pulled something like that off. The first one was, my Nvidia Shadowplay wasn't, for some reason, wasn't open, but it was one of those only in Battlefield moments. I actually tweeted about it. Basically, the bomber was like crashing to the ground, but like still pretty high up in the air. Basically, halfway across the map, like I think I was at A, I was running from A to B, or I was running from D to C, and the bomber was up over far past C. I was looking from, obviously, from D to C, and the bomber was like crashing to the ground. The pilot had evacuated, but the gunner was still in it. I, for some reason, just took a pot shot with the standard sniper rifle. No K bullets. I just took a pot shot, hoping to maybe get like some damage or like a last ditch destroy or whatever. Sniped the gunner out. Got him in the head. I was like, oh my god. I do not believe that I have not gotten this, but yeah, it's definitely a game. It's definitely a Battlefield game. So that's, I guess, where we'll get into the kind of review of it. Definitely a Battlefield game. It's absolutely, like, it's clearly got the whole, like, it's on the very far end of like almost insulting it. A lot of people have been saying that it's literally just another reskin Battlefield game. It's like people said that about Hardline and about Star Wars Battlefront. People are saying that it's kind of just another reskin of Battlefield, which isn't technically wrong, and it's also not technically a bad thing. Like, it's still, like, Battlefield, like, being a reskin of Battlefield 4 is by no means a bad thing. Like, that game ended up being one of the best FPSs there's ever been. Like, there's just no two ways about it. It ended up, obviously it started rough, but it ended up being absolutely fantastic. So yeah, as you can tell, I didn't exactly hate it. I started off not being a fan because I had like joined in a bit late. I was like a couple of days late, and obviously some people got to play the early alpha and stuff like that. So I was just struggling a little bit with being a noob, and I just found it very frustrating. I didn't know the map well, I didn't know the guns that well, and basically I uninstalled it after like the first couple of hours. But yeah, after giving it another try, I have to say it's good. Basically the main thing that stands out to me is when you have a good game, it exemplifies everything that's amazing about Battlefield. It has like the only in Battlefield moments, the crazy action, the big train that passes through, all the weapon variations, all the like the capturing flags, fighting over flags, all that good stuff. When you have a good game, that's basically it is the best of Battlefield. But when you have a bad game, it is the worst of Battlefield. It is literally like what it really amplifies the worst of Battlefield to people that don't really play Battlefields when you have a bad game, because it's just such a huge map. It's literally the biggest map ever. Basically, it's taken over from that one from the end of BF3 as being the new biggest map. So it is a huge map. If you somehow get stuck at E, you do have to run all the way across or try to hope for a horse or some vehicle to spawn or something like that. It is such a huge map, so you can just literally get sniped or shot at from anywhere. Like, literally these things that are like, these are things that you might even see in this gameplay. But yeah, sorry, to go back to the point, it does, like, it can be either very, very good or very, very frustrating. I noticed that I have either amazing games where I have a great time, or I really want to uninstall the game again. Like, there's like very little in between when it comes to that. But as far as like the actual details goes, why do I like it? Why do I not like it? I like that it is like a Battlefield game. It does feel like I'm just playing like a slightly different BF4. Again, not insulting it. That's by no means an insult. It's hard to say, because I like the game so much, or I like the series so much. I don't want to talk negatively about it too much, but I guess it's more interesting. The stuff that I have to say about it being not good is more interesting than it is good. Like, it is good, yes, the weapons sound great, they look great, the animations are fantastic, the map is gorgeous, it is fun, like just playing a new Battlefield game. All the kind of common things that you might compliment a Battlefield game for, I would compliment this game as well. But the negatives for me are very worth talking about. I know it's a beta, I know all this stuff, but basically the tanks are just ridiculously overpowered. People say that, like, oh, well, what you expect, or like, oh, it's a good pilot, but I swear to God, like, tanks in this game are just infuriating. It's not uncommon to see the top 2 or 3 people on each team go flawless every second game, every game nearly. That's something that would only happen if you happen to run into like an ace pilot in BF3 and BF4, or like a really, really good gunner, or a tank pilot. I don't know if you call them a pilot, but yeah, like, that's literally something that stands out a lot, is that the tanks are super, super powerful. It's really not uncommon to see people going 20 plus and 0 like in this game, which is kind of annoying. As somebody who's not really particularly useful in tanks, that's kind of annoying. And your methods for taking them out aren't really that useful. Like, you've got the anti-tank mines, you have the anti-tank weapon for the assault kit, you have the anti-tank like missile thing that you throw, that you get 2 of. For the sniper class, you've got K bullets. They all, yeah, if you make a conceited effort to combine your teamwork together to get multiple people to do this, yeah, you can probably take out tanks. But for, like, if you're not doing that, it's tough. Like, it's literally those individual things do such little damage, really, except for maybe the anti-tank mines. I'd say the anti-tank mines might do a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure. Again, I haven't tested out all of this stuff yet, so I'm not entirely sure. There's also the C4-esque thing, the dynamite. Again, I'm not sure. I haven't really experimented with that too much, but I haven't seen that be a big massive impact on have a big massive impact on tanks. So yeah, like the strength of tanks versus what you have to deal with them, it's a little bit balanced or just skewed a little bit. The weapons themselves, like the guns, just way too random for me. Way too random. Just there's like one of my favorite things about the Battlefield series is the gunplay, because the guns, while they have great recoil and the recoil bounces around, it can be controlled. You can pick up on where it's going, and if you can control it, the bullets where you want them to go. Particularly with a lot of the kind of for the medic class, I think they've got a lot of like reasonably slow, fast, like automatic firing weapons, if that makes sense. Like they're automatic, but they have a really slow fire rate, and they just, frankly, the bullets for those just seem to go wherever they want. And then again, a lot of the fully automatic weapons, the bullets really just seem to have crazy just deviation and spread. And I get that from the like authenticity aspect. Yeah, the guns weren't that great back then, so that's what you have to kind of expect. Like, you have to really get on top of your game, and maybe that's a thing. Maybe it's just something that you have to learn. You have to just practice and get better with them at. Maybe I just suck. I don't know. Like, it's highly possible, but I'm not sure, because I've seen Rival X Factor, who has brilliant aim. I've seen him complaining about the gunplay, like the random bullet spread and stuff like that. That's just something that really puts me off. I don't like it when I'm like controlling the recoil and I feel like I should be hitting guys, and the bullets are just like almost in a cartoon, like Bugs Bunny-esque, where they're like just doing a silhouette of the person's body on the wall. Like, the snipers, while they are probably my favorite class to use, they are weird. And I was speaking to my friend Ryan about this before as well. I had the same issue when I went from Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4. I'd learned Battlefield 3 snipers so clean and so certain, and like I knew exactly how to use them, that when I got to Battlefield 4, it just felt like they just were not accurate. It just felt like that you would aim at a head, you would shoot at a head, and it would somehow not hit. It would somehow not register. And now I'm playing in servers based in Ireland. I've got like 15 ping. Everyone in the server has like a maximum of like 40 ping maximum, like. So I don't think it's a connection issue. I just think it's weirdly, you have to be literally on the person's like eyebrows to get like a headshot in the game. It just seems really inconsistent, and it reminds me a lot of when I first started playing BF4 after playing BF3 for so long. There's something about the sniping that's not terribly accurate. Other than that, the horses are good. They're very, very tanky. They're very tanky, which surprised me a lot. I really was wondering how they'd implement horses, and making them as tanky as they did is clearly a way to go. I don't think I've ever killed a horse. Now, like, as I think of it, just from shooting, like while trying to hit the person that's riding it, I've never just gotten the horse while not getting the person. It will usually like be the recoil that pulls up, and I'll end up getting the person instead of horse. The horses very rarely die. The airplay, I really couldn't tell you. I'm not a pilot. I'm not somebody who flies the planes. I've tried it. I've noodled about with it. They seem kind of fun if you're good at piloting, but I'm not. So like, and then the gunner positions is interesting, and it's good and it's helpful. Like a good plane pilot with a good gunner on the back could be a strong combination. Like, because those gunner guns do actually shred the other airplanes, depending on which ones you're coming up against. Like, what else? The flags. I like the flag positioning. I like the little kind of go between D, C, and B, but then A, D, and F. D and F, obviously, you've got a little go-between there, but like A, D, and F, and then obviously E, just out in the middle of nowhere. It seems like they just put that out there just for the sake of having a big map. Like, that just seems like all it is. It's just a big, huge map, maybe for the air vehicles, like for the planes and stuff like that, to be able to fly around in. But to fill up that space, they just randomly stuck a spawn or like a flag out there, and it's mostly just a pain in the ass more than that to actually try and get out to that flag and back. So I'm not really a big fan of E. The UI, I think I mentioned this before when I was first looking at it, or like maybe in one of the earlier takes that I tried to do this a couple of days ago. The UI is just way too inappropriate. It's just way too clean and modern. It literally looks like they just took the Star Wars Battlefront UI and just slapped it in. Like, it's unusually clean. But as far as everything else, like the settings and stuff like that, that's all unfinished, I would imagine. Like, there's a lot of stuff from the CTE that was implemented, like the triage system, being able to see how much life or how much time you have left to revive your teammates and stuff like that. I can only presume that that's coming, and a lot of the other things that are in the game are coming. There's the Conquest system. So I've literally almost exclusively played Conquest, because when I got into Rush, it was not fun. Like, it was just not fun at all. The gameplay was just so, I don't know if it was just the server what. It just seemed like we just didn't have a hope in hell, because they had vehicles, they had tanks, they had like all that kind of thing basically, and we had nothing, and it just seemed like we were getting trounced. Now, that was based on one game of Rush, so I wouldn't put too much credit into that, or like wait into my opinion on that. It's just from that one experience that I had, I didn't enjoy it. But I don't particularly enjoy Rush anyway. For the most part, I much prefer Conquest. Trying to think what else. So the Conquest, speaking of, the timer what were they thinking? Why would you put a timer on Conquest, literally, and then changing it around? Like, so basically it's just a TDM while capturing flags. It's like, okay, I don't understand the point of that. For those of you that don't know, in the old Battlefields, basically the system was that you kill a person, you remove tickets. I think you start on like 15, say you start on like 1,000 tickets in like an extreme case. Every time you kill an enemy player, you take away one of their tickets, assuming they don't get revived. If they get revived, the ticket goes back in. So basically, yeah, so if you kill 3 guys, or if you kill 5 guys, it goes down to 995 tickets. But there's no timer, so it's literally just as long as it takes to go from 1,000 tickets to 0 tickets, and whoever reduces the enemy team to 0 tickets first wins, basically. What they've done now is they've just set it on, like, what is it, like 200, 300 tickets, 250 tickets, and they have a timer. And I think the timer's like 15 minutes. 20 minutes or something like that. Again, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really been paying attention, but I just know that there's a timer, and basically you could only have been playing for like 10 or 15 minutes, but it could have been a hectic game where somebody got a load of kills and the game's over. You still have like, you're still only like halfway to achieving your ticket goals. Like, as far as I know, nobody I know has actually gotten a ticket win yet. Nobody I know has achieved the amount of tickets that it takes to win a game within the time limit. So basically, it's just a limited game, and yeah, it's just a ridiculous decision. It doesn't make any sense to me why they would change a fundamental aspect of one of their fundamental game modes. Like, it's Conquest, like, for God's sakes, in the Battlefield series. What were they thinking? I think that is now it. I think I'm finished with that. That was the main thing, unless I think of something else. They were the main things that I wanted to talk about. The maps, just the touch on the controllability, the weapons, the vehicles, Conquest, and that's basically it. The servers were down, go down every now and again, but I don't know if that's for maintenance. I know they were hacked once, or not hacked, giving credit to a bunch of kids, DDoSed. But yeah, I think that's about it. So that's it. That's my thoughts on BF1. It's taken a while. I didn't do a single video like, I did one video where I just briefly touched on it when I covered EA Play, but this is the first time I've actually covered Battlefield 1 since it was announced, because I just wasn't sure. I really wasn't. I was not optimistic at all in the lead up to it, because it just didn't seem like something I'd be interested in. I much prefer like modern weapons, modern guns, modern sights, and that kind of thing. That's another thing, just really quickly. The fact that a lot of these weapons are iron sights does my nut in. I do not like iron sights in games whatsoever. So like, thankfully, like the experimental versions of them, like some of the weapons will have experimental versions, and they'll have a kind of rough iron sight on them, and that's good. I shall wrap it up. If there's anything I missed, I'm sure there is. I'm going to feel like an idiot, but if you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.